There we go. Right, hello everyone. This is going to be a very interesting hour or two. I have a very good feeling about this. So for anyone that doesn't know, this is the wonderful, wonderful Cleo. And she is just one of the best people we've ever met. Probably.
That's amazing. Thanks.
So we're going to basically just talk as we usually do. Some nonsense. We'll turn up. Yeah, something like that. Jack's the man with the questions.
Oh God.
Usually.
Well, no. You don't have to worry, don't.
I just do the intros, that's it. I'm just going to save next time.
That's the best intro I've
Job
ever
done, yeah. Smashed it, mate.
Amazing.
Fantastic. So, Cleo, we obviously met you like at the back end of last year when you came into Smugglers and did kind of like a tasting training session with me and all the bar staff. I remember at the time I kind of initially wrongly thought that you were just going to be like a rep sort of promoting and whatnot. And then as soon as we got talking, I realised that you actually were like instrumental of, you basically built the brand and you kind of decided on the blend and everything from the ground up. So obviously doing like a session with you was really interesting because you knew so many more dimensions of the whole process than most other people would, you know, when talking about a rum or any spirit for that matter. So I guess today we're going to kind of like delve a little bit into how all it came to be and whatnot. But before that, maybe could you give us a bit of a background into yourself? Like, what did you do sort of before getting into rum in general? And then how did you kind of like fall into that?
Cool. Well, right, it depends how far back you want to go. Oh, yeah, you'll be like, basically, I did work a bit in the Caribbean, and that was ages ago, and I love that's when I worked for Virgin Richard Branson, which was amazing. And I sort of fell in love with it then, and that's when I really first got to try rum and really thought, right, I like this. But I was quite little then, so but that's when it started firing up on my awareness. Do you know what I mean? And I went travelling all sorts. I did mates a few jobs, and then I decided to set up some bars. So I got a government grant to set my first bar up, and I ended up opening 4 bars, which was mental, and a club in Manchester. I didn't even mean to open a club, but anyway, and it was really good. It was brilliant. But during that time, this is what I always say, I got to work with some really cool people like you lot that know what you're on about. Do you know what I mean? So I didn't used to know what I was on about. And the brilliant thing about having bars is you can order what you want, because you don't really pay for it, and then you sell it. And so I was like, just like trying it all and asking people that knew what they were on about. Well, what about this? Why does that taste like that? And that started really firing me up. And then after 14 years later, I thought, I cannot be doing with this bar business any longer. So it was brilliant, but I did my time. And so I decided to do this properly, which was amazing. And because I'd met so many experts, I always go on about Stephen James. I hope he doesn't get embarrassed. You know, the Rum Diarist, the blogger, he's fantastic. Yeah. If you want to know anything about rum, ask him. And we used to sit outside Altrincham Market, and he used to bring down like these amazing little samples, and we'd tip them into each other, and he'd say, that tastes like that because of that. That's come from that distillery, that's been distilled like that. And I'd be like, wow, and then we'd be sloshed and we'd do it all over again. But it was really good, and I learned all about it that way. And got, as I say, there's a few other people that I won't go on about now, but they were amazing and they helped me. But I wouldn't have known them if I hadn't been in the industry. So it's really helped. So I thought, right, here we go. On your marks, get set, go. So I went back to Caribbean, went to a couple of distilleries, which were amazing. I went to Cuba, and I went to, where was the other one? Foursquare, which is Brill. But when I got lots of rums and things to bring back with me, and then I also got lots of samples, and basically spent a whole year with the help of Main Rum, samples, like tipping them into each other with the help of these people, just going, what do you think of that? And then getting it blended. Do you know what I mean? I've got a rum cupboard, which is actually over there. I won't show you it, it's huge. And it's just full of millions of rums. And as I say, we just tip, and then we'd send it out to trade shows, bars, chefs, everyone, and just go, what do you think of this? And every time I thought I got it right, they all went, nah, right. So it took a long time, and you've got to be careful. It's not just my taste, because I don't really like really sweet rum. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Okay, but I prefer to be on the slightly drier side. Having said that, when I had that Enmore 96 with you, I nearly fell over. I've never got... Anyway, sorry, shut up. So I did that for a year and it was brilliant. And as I say, after a year, we got the final blends for the golden one, which was the most difficult. And that was amazing because I knew about rum, but it's only when you start blending it that you start thinking, I know absolutely nothing. And it was scary. And my learning curve was like that. It went up and then it just fell off the ceiling. It was so steep. And I learned a hell of a lot in a quite short period of time. So yeah, that's how we did the golden one and the clementine one as well. Obviously the clementine one's a spiced one, which is completely different. So one I was blending rums and the other one I was blending flavours and spices. So it's quite different. But yeah, that's it. Oh, and do you want me to just go on about the really difficult things? Oh my God.
Sure, go ahead.
First of all, getting the money, outrageous. In the end,
that was something I was going to ask, because obviously you just said, like, over the course of all this time, you kind of just like opened these bars and then had a club and then started making rum. Like, how did you position yourself to get into all these points? Like, from my point of view, right now, if I wanted to go and open some bars, it'd be quite tough, you know? Like, how did you kind of fall into that?
Well, that was a long time ago, right? When things aren't like they are now, so it's a bit easier to get money. So I did this new entrepreneur scholarship thing at Manchester Business School at night. And I got they gave me £4,000, which I spent on a solicitor. And then I managed to get, there was a loan they used to do with the government. I need it. Don't believe it or not. And then there was this loan that the bank used to do. If they thought your business plan was good enough, it would be backed by the Department of Trade and Industry, so that if you didn't have any security, the bank would still lend you money. They don't do that anymore.
Oh, I was going to say, that seems like a very lenient.
Amazing. I am brilliant at writing business plans. That HSBC said it was the best one they'd ever seen. So if you ever want a hand, seriously, I love it. I'm a bit of a geek. Anyway, so I did that and did all my projections, and I managed to get the loan for odd in the Northern Quarter. Oh, and then I got on the back of that, I got a silly loan for the next one. Then I opened the next one on my own because I had enough money, and I got another loan for the next one. And then I turned one into a club with the money I got. Do you see what I mean? During that time, I bought 2 houses, which I put on this bloody rum for.
So, of all those places,
I'm going to come and live with you.
That's fine. You can move it anytime. Just bring that rum cabinet. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I'll have to get a massive van. But yeah,
that's all right.
Yeah, I just haul it in.
I'll hire the van for the day. So.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
So, of all those bars, then, is there any that are still operating now, or once you kind of left those, did you just pass them on to someone else?
Yeah, I went off and left them behind because I just didn't. Yeah, I just sold them basically, so I didn't want to do that anymore. But yes, and I managed to raise the money to get this going. But I mean, blimey, it is. I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I'm really excited at the moment because it's going really well. But it is slightly bottomless pity, if you know what I mean. But in a hole. And there you go. But it's great, but it takes a hell of a lot of money to start it up. And a lot of things that I didn't know. I've learnt them now, but if I knew at the beginning what I know now, I probably wouldn't have approached this because it's huge. Right. I'm very glad I did. I mean, one of the major things, apart from getting the blimmin' money, is the licenses you have to have from the government. They came around my house to check I wasn't a dodgy rum person. Well, I am, but not in there. I'm not dodgy.
We'll edit that out, don't worry.
I'm just making a joke out of myself, okay?
So what sort of license do you need then for?
So you need a wholesaling license, and then you need a license to keep it under bond. So basically, if you keep a rum, once you've produced it under bond, you get a massive license for this. You don't have to pay the duty per bottle to the government until it leaves bond. So if you're getting big bulk together, so say if I got 1,000 bottles, it's £8 a bottle, I'd have had to come up with £8,000 just to get it out, but it can stay there until I've sold it. Do you see what I mean?
Okay.
So if you're selling it by, the 50 boxes or whatever, you can do it in that way, and that eases cash flow. So that's a big license. Again, we can chat all about that. I'll bore your head off. And then there's that's a WALGA, and then you've got AWRS, which is your permission to sell it, and that's when they come round your house and they go, do you know the new law, paragraph B, section 64? I went, of course I do, of course I do. But anyway, I managed to get through that. And I got through that. I did know, but again, I am actually a geek. I don't come across as one, but I am one. So I knew all about that, and that took about 3 hours. And there was 2 of them, and they were like cross-examining me. And then they went and looked all around the house. I'm like, blimey. Anyway, I passed that. Who knows how that happened? So that was good. And then you have to just learn how you get it out there. You know, you can't just, hi, I've got some rum. So what was really good, I had a great relationship with a wholesaler that I'd used for 14 years when I was with the bars. So they gave me a try, which is amazing.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
That's really good. And then it's just like, you think to yourself, oh, I've got this really nice rum, and really, oh, the design of the label, oh my God, me and the designers nearly blew each other up. But anyway, we got there. The label's brilliant, I think. And that costs lots of money as well. But what was I going to say? Oh, you think you've got this lovely rum with a lovely label. You just think, oh yeah, everyone's going to buy it. No, they're not, because nobody knows about it. Wow, it's been a shock. It's getting there. It's getting there now.
So, yeah, I mean, well, we can get into that a little bit, I guess, because it's something that I really wanted to talk to you about. Obviously, it seems from an outsider looking in that in such a short space of time, it's gone from essentially being like a brand new brand to seemingly being available everywhere.
I know, because I'm like a dog with a bone. Awful. I'm like,
well, I mean, if you're doing something right, that's for sure. You know, like it really seems to you got yourself out there. I presume it's been a lot harder behind the scenes than it looks like from an outsider looking in.
Me breezing up and having a laugh, like it is really hard, and like getting so, for instance, getting national wholesalers to take it on. It's huge. You're with LWC, aren't you?
Yeah, so we do a lot of work with LWC.
Do them. So for instance, you can't just rock up to LWC and say, here, I'll take this. You just can't. There's just a lot of background and rapping on doors and being a pain in the bum and stuff like that, which I'm quite good at. I'm tenacious little
I was going to say, you certainly are like the persistent type. So
yes, I am. But yes, so there's a lot of that. So you sort of have to. It's all very well going out there, but you have to do the building blocks, and people have to be able to get it. But then it's a bit catch-22. If the wholesalers don't know who you are, they're like, well, why should we take it on? So you have to go and get demand in order to, you know, get the wholesalers to take it. It's very weird. I'm doing it.
Yeah, I guess once you get the ball rolling, it kind of snowballs, right, and it picks up. And once you're available in 1 or 2 places, and all of a sudden the product starts to sell, other people will catch on, and then more will start picking it up.
Yeah, so I mean, my plan was to do it. Obviously, I'm based in Manchester, was to start in Manchester, because again, I knew a lot of people. I think some people were a bit worried though, because some people knew me from having the bars, and they're like, oh right, so she started a rum. And they might have felt obliged to stock it, but what if it was crap? Lucky it's not. But do you know what I mean? I go, stop my mum. What if it was rubbish? And I'm saying, no, sorry, Cleo, it's rubbish, but it isn't. So they have. There you go, round circles. So I've got it into some really, really excellent places. Do you know what I mean? In Manchester, and of course in Liverpool, which is quite hard to get into. Lovely. There's been a couple of other places in Liverpool, so it's just beginning to spread out, and I'm getting into London now as well. I did a rum week at Trailer Happiness last week.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, amazing.
I nearly fell over. I was so nervous. But anyway, that was good. And then we were just about to launch a menu in Lucky Cane when they started
nice.
Launch a menu with you guys. So it was all, and it's just gone boom. But hopefully we can pick it all up with everyone after.
That's a couple of heavy hitters in London then. So you obviously kind of, they're the kind of places that strike me as bars that wouldn't really take on the product unless they had a little bit of belief in it themselves, you know, like.
Exactly, well, a bit like yourselves. Do you know what I mean? Am I allowed to refer to you as yourselves on this video?
You call us whatever you like.
Whatever you like. Yeah.
Whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like proper rum bars is what I'm trying to go for. So and I think I deliberately set out to do 2 SKUs, to do 2 different things. I've got the golden blend, as you know, which has got nothing added to it. It's just the rum speaks for itself. It's got some really beautiful distilleries in there, which, you know, proper rumheads are going to take seriously. Okay, do you know what I mean? And then you've got the clementine rum, which I think actually sits in. Spice rum's in a different category, I think. even though it's got rum in the title. But again, that one I wanted to do a high quality one of those as well. So that seems to be working, because so some big rum bars won't look at the spiced rum yet, but they are actually. Having said that, I made them. They've done it.
Well, let's delve
terrifying.
So actually, like, delving into the liquids themselves then. So starting with the golden one, as you said, from like a bit of a rum nerd's perspective, you've got a mix of 3 in there, right? So stop me at any point if I'm mistaken. So you've got Foursquare from Barbados in there.
Yeah, 8-year-old rum.
Perfect. You've got Worthy Park, Jamaican,
which is
and then okay, and then you also have from Guyana, from VDL. You've got, I believe it's off the Port Morant still.
No, Enmore.
From the Enmore.
Yeah.
Okay, and how old is that one?
3.
3. Okay, so you've got like a really kind of, it ticks all the boxes from a
it's got a really good light, and they're really good distilleries, and they've been making rum, some of them since the 1600s. You know what I mean? They know what they're talking about, and like the blooming Enmore still, you know me, I get terribly overexcited about that, don't I? It's been making rum since 1830, and it's made of wood. How can that work? It looks like Jenga bricks. It's amazing. I don't know how it stands up, but it's brilliant. But I've got some of that in there, and I'm like, wow, that is amazing. I'm permanently amazed by my own rum.
Did you know right off the bat you were going to go for those 3 specifically, or did you just like, no, it was purely trial and error?
I wanted to, I spoke to a lot of experts about what you shouldn't do. And also from speaking to them, was picking up from that who they really rated, and what distilleries were proper, distilleries with provenance and authenticity, and that's what I wanted. I always knew I wanted to do Caribbean rum just because I love it. But yeah, so I did try a few. I mean, I tried other rums from Trinidad, and they were all brilliant. I tried all sorts of different rums, but it was those 3, having fiddled about with them. Fiddled, that's a technical term. They were the ones I said, and I just wanted some that people that I respected first and foremost, but that, you know what I mean, proper rums in there. All other distilleries are proper as well. Sorry, I just chose those 3. Sorry, guys, just to say that.
Oh, you don't have to be impartial on this show. It'll be fine.
No, because there's this big debate, because I've always said Caribbean is the home of the birthplace of rum, which it is, but rum comes from so many other different places as well. So I chose to go for Caribbean, but there are a lot of other places that rum comes from that are brilliant too. PC tick.
Yeah, we were actually talking of like the main rum company in Ian and stuff. We tried some Fiji, was it, in that big rum warehouse that was like old, like really old.
Plantations just bought some of them out, Fiji rum.
Yeah, I was going to get a bottle actually the other day, and I didn't, and I'm kind of regretting it. Yeah, I know, but it was so good. Like it's
lovely.
So different to like a lot of other stuff we've tried. It's very, very unique.
Yes.
Yeah, it's always interesting to say. Like, I would say we've tried a decent amount of rum in our time at this point, and to try something that's, you can't even compare it to anything else. Do you know what I mean? It's so unique and it's so different. It's fascinating that you can still stumble across stuff that's not like anything else you've tried, but it still sits in the same category,
Yeah. No, there's lots out there. I can't wait to get stuck in. I mean, I've got, for my future project, I've got another rum in development at the moment, but again, obviously that's just gone boom. That's going to be in, because what I do find this as well at the moment. I think rum is sort of going the same way as gin, but the spiced and flavoured ones are, and then I hope people catch on to the other side of rum through that. Do you see what I mean? So at the moment, the spiced and flavoured rum is having a boom. I don't know if you've noticed that before.
Yeah, I think it's I was going to say it's quite a good way to get people sort of into drinking rum, I suppose. And then they kind of enjoy it.
And then you can educate. I think through education, though, everybody, because remember gin, everyone used to chuck their babies out the window and all that stuff, and now everybody loves it. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like, oh no, I'm going to cry.
A very brief history of gin production.
And it used to be, oh no, it's mother's ruin and all this jazz, and then it became, you know, the biggest thing on the planet, didn't it? And so if you could see that turnaround, and that was through education and like or artisan brands, and I think there's more and more artisan rum brands like surfacing both in this country and around the world, like just experimenting with things. I'd love to have my own distillery one day, but not this week.
Next week.
It's definitely something that we've discussed before, the idea of like additives and adding flavouring and stuff like that, and is it a pro or is it a con? And there's kind of two sides to the coin, isn't there, really? It's like you said, it is quite a nice sort of like gateway in, but then at the same time, if it becomes too diluted with products that are kind of subpar quality, it can steer people off in the wrong direction. I guess it's up to the likes of bartenders and producers to sort of be there to provide the extra information, you know.
Yeah, I think that some of the sweeter, big hitting rum brands like Diplomatico is lovely, but I think it's slightly sweeter. That they could maybe move. That's you know, if you like, a proper rum. So I think you take them into the sweet realms, and then they can start exploring everything else. Because I haven't chosen to add any sugar to my golden one, and I don't like calling it golden one. I should call it blend, because we don't talk about colour anymore, do we? In rums, because you know, you say I like dark rum or golden rum. That's stupid, because people just put colours in it. Don't matter. You sort of like dark rum. Well, you wouldn't like exactly the same rum if it didn't have all that colour in it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's my little rant about that. But I've chosen with the golden one because the rums are so lovely. They were aged in like the whiskey cask. It does drink quite dry. So I find quite a lot of whiskey drinkers are unexpectedly liking it as well. So that's quite nice. That's cool.
Well, that's a nice market to tap into.
I know.
You know, there's plenty of whiskey drinkers out there, so
exactly. So when I do markets and things, they just go, don't like rum, and I'm going, stop, do not pass my stall without trying it, and they'll walk off with it, probably because they're scared. But you know what I mean?
Can't see why.
No, but I just go through it with them, and like they say, do you like whiskey or do you like, you know, I mean, so, and gin drinkers, like people that like flavoured gins, I would direct them probably to the clementine rum because it's a flavoured rum, and then whiskey drinkers and rum drinkers love the golden one, they absolutely love it, and then whiskey drinkers who think that they don't like rum will like, as I say, the blend, which is lovely. So it's sort of catering for both ends of the spectrum, but it's difficult as well because you've got the very big brands have got such massive marketing budgets, and I've got none. Okay, so that's what you're up against. But I think people are taking a bit more notice, aren't they? Do you think of smaller brands now a little bit?
I feel like there's kind of it's been a little bit of a trend in everything, whether it be like kind of quote unquote craft beer, that sort of movement. Yeah. And I think the same with spirits as well. People are appreciating like a little bit more authenticity and a little bit more like care and passion, you know. And I think that there's a bit of something that's quite exciting about like rarity, like if there's only X amount of bottles available, you know, exclusives and things like that. People seem to really take to that. So, but then sometimes people market stuff as like special editions, and they're not actually special editions.
I know, that's naughty. And then suddenly they found some more. Oh, what a coincidence!
But yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think that appreciation for the smaller brands that are out there, and I think probably social media kind of helps as well, which is something you're definitely utilising to the best of your ability. Like it's free though, isn't it? You know, it's free, so you don't have to pull tons of money into marketing and whatever. You can just jump on your laptop or on your phone and record yourself doing a video.
I'm scared of it, though, believe it or not. Before this COVID business, okay, I have people who do a very good job to do my brand page, because that's meant to be properly serious. Well, I've gone and completely mucked that up. But anyway, you know, we get proper professional photographs and everything on there. But I used to have not much to do with social media. And when this whole virus thing broke out, I thought, bloody hell, what am I going to do? I can't just sit there, do you know what I mean? And you're right, I thought to myself, look, this is free, I'll give it a go. It'll either go down like a sack of potatoes or it will do all right. And thankfully people seem to be responding quite well, which is great. So yeah, social media is amazing to help. If you can just, you've got to be really careful with brands about sending out messages and things, because My brand's it's a serious, it's got serious rum and it's a serious, you know what I mean? But I'm not particularly serious, although I take it very seriously. Does that make sense? So,
Yeah, no, totally.
I think we're the same, don't worry.
You are.
I think we're the same.
Exactly. So it's just I was a bit worried about actually putting myself there because, well, you know what I'm like. I come round and leap about and do silly things, but then I know what I'm on about. And so I just thought, well, I've got to try that. And as I say, it's beginning to work. And it is a really good tool that doesn't cost anything. Although I discovered how you can promote posts. That's my new thing. Oh, what does that do?
Don't spill all your secrets on here, otherwise people are going to be catching up to you.
When you do this, would you ever think about doing a rum?
Take it away.
Yeah, if you've got that bottomless pit of money you were talking about, then
yeah,
absolutely.
You can have some of it then, all right.
We can do a special just run with it blend for you if you like.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, lovely.
We'll do 200 bottles or something.
All right, fine. Nice one.
No, it's like 200 quid a bottle for it, yeah.
Another thing I want to do with, do you mind me just whittering on? Another thing I want to do with this is a lot of rum brands are quite male, I think. There's nothing wrong with that, but they're all sea gods or they're gods of war going to blow everyone up and they're captains of ships. You know what I mean? And they can be quite bullish sometimes. And I wanted to do something that was a bit more female on account of I am one. So I put her on the front of it as quite a powerful female figurehead, and that's going down quite well. And the serves that we've been doing, this is good because I've updated my website finally. We've done some really amazing serves that you wouldn't properly normally associate with rum. So it's just as well seeing it in a slightly different way and seeing how versatile it can be, because it really can. You do loads with it.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think as well, we spoke about this, I think, when you came to Smugglers, but the branding itself looks quite modern. It looks quite slick. Like the shape of the bottle's a little bit unique. I'd say on average, still most of the bottles, barring a few big outliers, they tend to be more like traditionally shaped, and the labeling typically is somewhat plain. Bland's not the right word because there's a lot of labels out there that have all the information on that you want, but they are quite clear cut and straightforward. Yeah. Yours is obviously a little bit more arty,
And I put gold on it. What a silly idea was that? We find the most expensive thing you can find to put on a label, right? And then put that on it. Again, you learn. You learn the hard way. Worth it. That's cool.
So there is actually a little bit of a backstory to the symbolism on the front, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to go into that a little bit?
Yeah, cool. So she is called. So have you heard of El Diablo, the devil? Most people have heard of El Diablo. So I was looking around. I thought, what am I going to call my beautiful rum from the Caribbean? Because I didn't want to call it something British. I want to sort of celebrate its heritage and its provenance. You know what I mean? You can't just call it Cleo's rum or something like that. So I had a look round, and it was amazing. I couldn't believe I found this woman. She's brilliant, and she's called Diablesse. So she's like the female. She's a female she-devil, and she comes straight from Caribbean myth, folklore, and she used to basically roam the streets by moonlight, and she'd had dealings with the devil, so she wasn't too happy, but she had a cloven hoof, which is great, but she kept that in the grass so no one could see it, which was great. That's what I would do. And then she roamed the Caribbean under this wide brim hat. If you look on the label, she's got like a circle behind her head. I've got one. Shall I show you it?
Mm-hmm.
Hello. That is the hat. And then she used to hide behind a fan as well. And she basically used to roam around by moonlight, seducing men into the forest, and they would never, ever be seen again. And I thought, nice one. There you go.
Is that what you plan to do with this rum? Is that the idea?
All the time, absolutely. It's for all us ladies out there. And men, obviously.
I was really confused for a second when you picked that bottle up. Obviously, I'm used to seeing the bottles, and they are quite big and quite chunky.
I've just got.
And that one looks very small.
I'm a giant now.
I was so confused.
It's just perspective, Jack. It's fine.
Is that a little miniature bottle of the spiced one? Is that right?
Yeah,
the Clementine
it's a 4-shot
spice
one, but I do them at home myself. I don't produce.
Oh, nice.
because it costs, you know what, it costs a bloody fortune to get miniatures done. So I do these competitions and I sell them on markets and stuff. They're lovely. They're an absolute ball ache to do. You have to sterilise them all to death, and then you have to fill them all to death, and then you have to put all the labels on. There's 3 labels. It's bonkers, but I did 500 for the VIP bar at Manchester City Football Club. That was fun.
Oh, wow. Wow.
4
I was going
days.
to say, everything you've touched on so far seems like a bit of a pain. Is there anything actually fun that comes along with doing this?
As it came up like a pain. Oh no, it doesn't need to. It's just a lot of hard work. Not at all. I absolutely love it. If it's come across like that, that's bad. I think it's just, I'm just trying to, if anyone's considering it, just consider it properly. No, it's brilliant. I love it. It's just when you're starting up, what's really nice is now, so I started February 19, and so I'm over a year now, and things are like, you can see the fruit of your work. Do you know what I mean? Because it's been like really hard, and at the beginning you don't see much coming back. It's great getting accounts and stuff and meeting some cool people that are into it, but it takes a while for it to get some traction. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Unfortunately, on the on-trade, that traction's officially stopped for now, but I am getting a lot on the off-trade, and I'm hoping that will tilt in once this virus thing's over. But no, it's brilliant. It's amazingly rewarding once you start seeing stuff coming back, and I am, thank God for that. I mean,
Diablesse,
I always do.
Diablesse shares my birthday, February 19th. Good day all round. Yeah, February 19th.
Right, we'll have to have a massive party then next year.
I'm down.
Dangerous.
Brilliant. Let's do it. That'd be amazing.
It's a day. Fantastic.
That.
So, the kind of gold or the blend that we've touched on, did that come before, or did it come at the same time as the Clementine spice? Because that's a bit of a different blend, right? You've only got 2 rums in there instead of the 3.
Yeah, so no, there's only 1 in the spice. So I did both projects simultaneously, but I did the gold one first because that was the most difficult, and that takes a lot of skill and a lot of trying to work out not only what you like, but what will be popular, and also what's possible, like financially. So that was the big one that I wanted to get right. So I did that, and then I started work on, sort of halfway through that, I started work on the Clementine. I always knew that I wanted to use a Demerara rum base for that because it's a naturally sweeter rum, and then that was tricky because with the golden, that was the blend, but with the Clementine, I kept sending out, and there'd be too much clove or too much cinnamon or too much. I'm like, and then we got it right, and then I put a mixer in it, and it bloody disappeared. I'm like, oh, for God's sake, why is that? And I realised the ABV was wrong. So then, having got the flavour right, I put the ABV up to 45, and it tasted like medicine. I was like, no, that's not going to work. So we went between 35 and 45 and settled on 40%. So you've got to do all these. Do you see what I mean? So you well know, they differ according to how strong they are. Do you know what I mean? Their whole flavour profile can differ. I mean, I'd like to do a stronger blend next time, but again, that's a financial consideration. You know what I mean? Because the duty, etc. But yeah, so the golden one, we took that through all the ABVs as well, and that did sit really well at 40. But you've got so many things to consider as well. I mean, I could have done the golden one a bit sweeter to suit more palates, but I didn't really want to.
Fair enough. So with the spice that's kind of in the, obviously Clementine's like the main component of the flavour that's added. How did you kind of fall upon Clementine? Because like there's all the kind of typical stuff you've got, you know, vanilla, orange, cloves, cinnamon, nutmeg. That's kind of like some of the bog standard spice that would typically be added to rum. So Clementine's the standout, you know. How did you fall on that? Or
well, I just did loads and loads of research about into cocktails and what people like to put in it, and do you know what I mean? And one of the things that started to stand out through the ages has been like orange or clementine. And I just thought, particularly clementine, and I was working with a consultant at the time, and we both turned up on the same day, and they said, I found the flavour I want to do, and we both said it at exactly the same time, which is amazing. He claims he said it first, he didn't. So there isn't another one in the world either, so it's the only clementine rum in the whole world, which is fab, which gives it a point of difference. So that's another thing, you've got to try and make these things a bit different, because bloody, the spice rum, there's so much spice rum coming out at the moment. So,
yeah, we've certainly we've really enjoyed like messing around with like the cocktail menu and stuff for for smugglers using the clementine. Certainly,
Yeah.
it's been like it's really good to use in drinks. We think like we've used it with
Yeah.
like champagne and all sorts of like weird
I drink
and
it with
wonderful.
everything. Put in my coffee, wash my hair in it. Are you having some? What are you having?
I'm drinking some rum. Unfortunately, it's not one of your bottles. I'm
What is it?
having a little afternoon sip.
Oh,
It's a bit of Worthy Park from Jamaica. Yeah.
Lovely, lovely.
I was trying to do it on the sly so no one would notice that.
I can smell it, sweets. You're right. Clementine's really good to give you a good flavour base. And what the good one about the golden one as well is because it's quite dry, you can add loads to it. We had brilliant daiquiri fun the other day with that. It's amazing. But that will take quite a lot of sugar, that one. But yeah, as I say, the Clementine's going down very, very well. It more than the golden, which I knew it would, but that's because it will appeal to more people, I think, because it's a bit sweeter.
Yeah, you've kind of like alluded. Go on.
No, I was just going to say, as you said before, it's one of those where it's, if you manage to kind of get people interested right off the bat with the Clementine one, who's to say that you can't give them a little nudge on to trying the blend, and then they try that and they like it more than they thought, and then all of a sudden they're kind of into the world of rum then. Yeah, exactly.
I want to do a limited edition one. I can't wait. But as we talked before, that's going to be bloody expensive.
Have you decided with that? Will it be another blend, or will it be like a single cask type thing, or?
Right, so my plan is going to be the only reason I would do. I'd do a single cask if I could. I'd go straight into that, but it's got to be financial, unfortunately. So I want to build the brand by getting stuff that is more appealing to more people at first, and then launching into that when I've got a bit more comfort to play with. Do you know what I mean? A bit more. So once I'm more established and I can start doing, do you know what I mean? The more rare stuff. I'd love to do that. I can't wait to do that. We should be a rum tasting team.
That Sounds would be like the most fun process of any work thing ever.
No, but that's what I need to do. As I say, if I had an endless pit of money, I would definitely do the more rare stuff and single cask, cask strength stuff now. But I don't think I'm going to be able to do it that way round. But it is coming, definitely.
So in regards to I was just going to say, in regards to where you are now, are you is it on course for where you thought it would be? Is it been more successful than you thought? Is it less? How would you gauge success with it so far?
So the first is I get very excited about this because you hit me on a good day. Right. So at the beginning of last year, when you're doing forecasts, in order to get money, you have to spread the sales out evenly. I shouldn't be saying this, but actually, obviously, they were much more with the new brand ramped far up towards Christmas. So it was better than I thought at the beginning, and then Christmas went through the bloody roof, which is great. And then this year, Monday and Tuesday, January and February. So 2 years. January and February were really, really quiet, and then obviously this is hit. But I'm fine. It's doing better. That was a very long way round to answering your question. It's sort of, at first I didn't really know what was going to happen. Then do you see what I mean? It went woof at Christmas, then it went down again. But now I'm beginning to see it really doing really well, which is brilliant. But it's been a bit. You can't rely on just because you have one good month. Doesn't mean you're going to necessarily have another one, but it does seem to now be gaining momentum. Do you see what I mean? So it takes a long time to get something going and get it in people's heads. It's getting there, which is brilliant.
Yeah, obviously we've seen it pop up. I mean, I was in Manchester a little while ago. I saw it in Selfridges. I mean, it's on Amazon. It's Master and Malt, Whiskey Exchange. It seems like it's every site that you would want to have it available on. It seems like it's basically sat on there now. What's kind of like the process with that? How do you manage to actually convince people to start taking it on, or do people come to you, or do you go to them?
Right, well, my wholesaler, first of all, I was with a wholesaler that would automatically try and get it into Amazon and Master of Malt. But
I see. So yeah,
they might do that for you. But I mean, things like specialty drinks, I campaigned to get that in there, which took a lot of please go on like that. So with things like that and LWC and all those sorts of people, I mean, sorry, you're talking more retail, aren't you? I keep talking wholesalers, stop it. Yeah, with the big sites like Selfridges, that was me. I literally went in the week it was launched. So I went, try this. And it just so happened that the next day their national buying manager was coming up. And they went, all right, we'll have it. I'm like, blimey, that was easy. It's not that easy. Not normally, not in the real world. But that's been Selfridges one, which has been absolutely brilliant. So things like that really, really help. As I say, Master of Malt, that went in on wholesale, but they're doing loads of business with it at the moment. So is Amazon, obviously, because of the lockdown. There are other sites like 31 Dover, Whiskey Exchange, as you said, and then getting it into smaller retailers. That's just a question of me going around and pecking everyone's heads and convincing them, because a lot of them have got limited shelf space.
Yeah.
Limited, why should we take you? So then I go and commit to doing 10 million rum tastings a year, and then they go, and then I stand in their shop and leap about. And that's what I do. It works.
I was going to say, I can see it working really well.
I did it. Honestly, last year was mental. It was and I was also doing artisan markets as well. So I've got teams that go out and do that, and I do them. But it got a bit mental last year. I was like, I think I've got a family, and I think I might have a son somewhere. So I had to like just ramp it, pull it back a bit. But I was out doing markets every weekend, and as I say, tastings in little retailers and things all over the show. I'm going to keep doing that, but I'm just going to try and pare it back a bit, because I think you need to chuck everything into it. You absolutely have to give it a push, and I will keep doing that. But I think now that I've got someone else that helps. You know, Phoebe.
Yes,
We've
I think
met Phoebe
briefly.
Yeah, so Phoebe, she's helping me as well. So I've been able to get someone else to help take that off me a bit. But yeah, you've just got to keep pushing it. That wasn't answering your question. Sorry.
No, it's great.
I just ran off with myself as usual.
I was just going to ask as well, when it comes to, obviously that kind of covers a lot of the retail aspects. How do you feel about the kind of bar and hospitality side of things? Like, how important is it for you to still be getting into, the bars and speaking to bartenders and whatnot?
100%, like million %. But I've sort of, it's so weird. It was my absolute focus. And obviously this bloody virus comes and just literally, I mean, it's incredible, isn't it? Just went bang. And I was a bit lost. I was like, I don't really know what to do with myself. I know that, because that had been my whole focus. That's where I'm from. That's all I'm used to doing. And that was my focus. So I've had to go back onto the off-trade side because there's nothing else. But the minute it comes back, I mean, I just hope the hospitality industry is going to be all right. I mean, I just don't know. The bigger companies will. I hope the smaller companies will keep going, and we can all buoy each other up and like launch back in. But I don't know. I mean, my focus will very, very, very much be going back to that side. I think it's really important. And doing cocktail comps. And when I've got lots of money, well, I say when now, not if, I'm being a bit confident. Like, I want to do like proper, big comps with proper prizes and things. And one day my prize will be to take everyone to the Caribbean. Not this week again, but it will be. I want to start doing stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's really brilliant you've got to get the hospitality of this industry, but I'm getting all blah again, and bars and things, because that's like, bartenders, they're the ones that know what they're on about, and they're the front facing, do you know what I mean? And they're the ones that create all these brilliant drinks, and it's like the holy grail getting on a bloody cocktail menu. It's like, wow, I love it. So yes, I'm very, very, I find it very important. I can't wait to start doing that again, actually. I really miss it.